wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip, and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning all. And this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home run I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. We all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? Here they come!
Let's make lemonade. Okay, let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed the pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinion. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along with us. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, or the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for dialing us in. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button, and then like this video, and of course, start leaving your comments in the comment sections. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Good morning there, Roscoe. What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm flying through the coffee this morning. What's going on here? Why am I off? Why am I so off? Oh, because my camera turned on me.
Your camera turned on you.
Holy cow! Look at that. Yeah,
You've got that manual PTZ camera, the point, tilt, and zoom camera.
Is that what that is? It's the Elgato.
The Elgato.
Elgato.
Yes.
I like saying it like that. Elgato.
Yes.
It's like I'm saying Benito Santiago.
God, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Benito Santiago.
Oh, you say Santiago. I say Santiago.
Santiago. It's probably Santiago.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
but
like when you say the state Mississippi.
Mississippi.
See, you say it like Leon Redbone. Yeah. But when I say Benito Santiago.
I went out to dinner the other night, and, you know, they were asking, saw some friends, and I didn't know how to take this because, I mean, I know what he meant. I don't think he meant to be mean, but he goes, you know, where's your daughter live? And I go, well, they're in Mississippi. Oh, what about that education system? Do you want them to stay down there? I'm like, listen, I know it's not ranked very high. I get it. But I go, you know, John, I think education starts at home. You know? Yes.
Amen.
So as long as they've got two really good parents that are involved in their kids' life and help them, I'm okay with the educational system. It's just how involved do you want to be? So I was kind of like, huh, you're telling my kids should get out? They're pretty happy in Mississippi. And they're going to make it of what they want to. Though I did get and I don't mean to be judgmental, I just got a picture of Sutton, and it's Sutton's first day of daycare. This is kind of a traumatic day for probably my wife and I, because we made the choice, and I know Abigail would love to stay home with her child, right? But, I mean, some things are possible, some things are not. But it's just like, oh, my God, she's going into somebody else's hands.
And that's a scary moment, but, shouldn't feel any sort of way about it. Abigail should, you know, you're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Sutton's still going to have two great parents at home. You're right. So a lot of people have to do that, man.
Yeah, I totally get it. Totally. Yep. But it's just like, oh, that time flies. It just another example of how time flies, right? I feel naked today, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, I shaved. I don't have my goatee right now. I had to shave it so I could wear a Halloween mask on Saturday night, which was glued to my face. And so now I've got my butt chin. My butt chin's back.
I never noticed.
I think,
dude, only when you do that, though. If you don't do that, You look great. You look totally normal and fine. No, quit doing that.
Just put the fingers right
No,
there.
don't do that.
Rub around.
All right, if I just do this, I can really do the show. I just block you off.
Oh, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable on a Monday morning.
No, this is what it's supposed to be, brother. Love it. How was the weekend? How did you raise a bunch of money for scare away cancer?
I think so. We had I think we raised a lot of money. We haven't got the final report yet, or even the initial report, because we went to a computerized system this year. We've always kind of been manual paper, old school auction, old school fundraiser. Well, a lot of the feedback we got from our constituents was, hey, we'd really like to go to an app so we could like bid online. So we did that this year. So I haven't got the initial numbers, but we had a couple. My Tuscany trip went for $8,500. The CMA Fest went for $12,000. The one that surprised me most, I'm actually good friends with a couple of auctioneers that are on the Mecum auto auction. So Matt and Trev Morvek out of David City, Nebraska, are actually on the Mecum auto auction, and Matt is like the number one. They had Mecum has a tractor sale over in eastern Iowa, and I think this was 2023, 2022. In a half hour, he sold $1 million worth of tractors. Dude, $1 million.
Mecum is incredible. What? And the guy, is it Dave Mecum? Is that the guy's name?
It might be, but I was I didn't know how this would go. It was the first time I called Matt and I said, hey, would you be able to donate anything to Scare Away Cancer? So he goes, hey, here's what we'll do. They can go to any Mecum auto auction in the country, so they can pick whichever one they want. He goes, we're at all of them. We'll give them VIP tickets to the auction, and we'll take them behind the scenes, let them get in the cars. We'll take them in the television production studio, all this. So what we did is they donated that, and then we threw in $1,000 travel voucher so they could either, use it for airplane or hotel or whatever they wanted to use it for. And I was hoping to get about $2,500 to $3,000 for that, right? I sold that for $7,000. And I'm like, wow. And it was just for two people. And I'm like, man, somebody really loves their classic cars. Because that's pretty niche, right? I mean, you have to be a classic car guy to really want that. So I think most of we had 14 oral auction items. I think most of them went for probably about $5,000 or above. So we did pretty decent on the oral auction. I don't know how the silent auction did, but hopefully we raised about $350,000 that night, which would be really, really a good night. So
Tyler wants to know how your Charlie Brown costume was, and then we're going to get back to Dana Mecum.
Okay, Charlie Brown. And honest to God, I thought I was going to be Charlie Brown. I woke up on Saturday convinced I was going to be Charlie Brown. I was excited that I was going to be Charlie Brown because it was very simple. I'm like, all I have to do is put a little, couple fake hairs up here, wear a yellow shirt with a black stripe. I'm good to go. And my wife, I go, okay, where's my costume? She goes, well, I lied to you. You're not going to be Charlie Brown. You're going to be the witch from Snow White, the one with the apples. And I'm like, what? So all of a sudden at noon, I don't have to be there till like 5. I start doing makeup. And she doesn't get me a regular mask. She gets me a prosthetic mask that I have to glue to my head. So I have like super glue. I go, how am I getting this off? She goes, baby oil will take it right off. I'm like, oh,
did it?
Man. Well, I was so miserable by the end of the auction. I said, would you just rip this thing off? So she carefully ripped it off. So we didn't use the baby oil. The baby oil did take the glue off that was still on my head, but it was a get up, and I learned a lot during this. First time I've ever worn a mask to be an MC and an auctioneer. And if you are a potential MC or auctioneer out there, do not wear a prosthetic rubber mask when you need to talk for 3.5 straight hours, because it creates a lot of problems. And one is it's hard to breathe. Number two, you become severely dehydrated because you can't drink anything. I'm drinking club soda through a straw, trying to get the straw.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Trying to get the straw. Trying to get the straw through this tiny little hole, and but I looked good, and nobody knew who I was, and I was in character. So I had this wood staff, and I was walking around with a basket of apples. and I wouldn't say anything, and I would just freak people out. Again. You want an apple?
Yeah, Anjanette sent me a video of you doing that, and it took, dude, I swear to God, the only way I knew it was you was by your bracelets. I saw underneath the costume, I saw like a little glimmer of your bracelets. I'm like, oh my God, I thought he was Charlie Brown.
And
This
I'm
is
glad
like the
you
exact opposite of that.
And I'm glad you sent that text because I took the cape and I wore black gloves after that, and I took the cape and I covered up my bracelets so nobody would see my bracelets. And so I was just walking around, and I wouldn't talk to people, and I'd get really close to their face, and they're like, "Okay, you're freaking me out now. Would you stop doing this? Who is this?" And you know me, the more uncomfortable I make you,
The more you are.
the more I'm going to push it. The more I'm going to take it up a notch, and that's what I did. So
Yeah.
it was a good night. But yeah,
Dude,
I was.
You mentioned the Mecum auctions. Dana Mecum used to come in to WHO and
Really?
Yeah. Whenever they had one around the Midwest, he would come to WHO and he'd sit down with Jan, and he'd usually spend like an hour. That's a fascinating dude. He is a truly fascinating guy and brilliant man. So when he came on, if people don't know what the Mecum auto auctions are, and I bet we got a good portion of our audience that has no idea who this guy is or what Mecum auto auctions are. For the most part, what he's known for is doing like uber high-end rare car auto auctions. Car and auto are that's
Same
redundant.
thing.
Yeah,
Well, because you have pickups in there, and you have all sorts of, and he does tractors. He does a whole bunch of things.
So, but it's like the rarest of the rare. I mean, like when Jay Leno wants to buy one of these one-off cars, he buys them from Dana Mecum, and Dana would come into the show for an hour and take phone calls, and people would call in and be like, "Hey, my mom's got a 1978 Nova. And I'm wondering what it's worth." And he would he didn't Google. He was like a mental Kelly's Blue Book. He could go, okay, how many miles are on it? Okay, what color is it? All right, is it a sport? Is it like he knew all the different variations of that particular year. And then he would go, all right, well, if it's in good shape, you're probably going to get about $17,000 for that car right now. And then, all right, thanks a lot. And the next person would call in and go, yeah, I've got a Caprice Classic. He is a fascinating dude, man. That's really cool. That's that of all the things, I'd love to go to Tuscany. I'd love to do a lot of that stuff. CMA, I wouldn't care about. But the Mecum auto auctions would be a cool thing.
Yeah, we and one of the best, and I need to thank you need to thank Full Court Press, and I need to thank the Casey Center. We had a date. We called it a Laughcation. So we have 2 nights at the Hilton right by the Casey Center, and then they got to pick either Jeff Dunham, Bert Kreischer, or Nate Bargatze to sit in the suite.
Wow!
Yeah. So and that went for I think about $5,000. So, I'm doing my best for Catch Des Moines to send people to Des Moines, spend a little bit of money, have a little bit of a good time. But, so it was a fun night.
Yeah.
And, anytime you can dress up and drink.
You enjoy, you have a good time with it, Travis.
Yeah,
I love how much you commit to this thing. I think it's super cool.
The truth is, I don't commit that much, and I think they wish I committed more because I'm not a decorator. I wish people could understand the atmosphere that we create. And everybody's like, why don't you decorate? I go, I have one job. And that is to raise money. I'm not a very good decorator. I'm not a creative person when it comes to, setting up sets and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm just going to sit back. You guys enjoy it. And they just like, you don't want to work. I go, it's not that I don't want to work. I don't want to do something and have you go.
What I meant by commit was just you put the time in.
Yeah.
You really do care about this thing. I think it's really cool. So
I know my role. So we, our special honoree, we gave her $35,000 that night. We gave her a check for $35,000. 15-year-old. Has a sarcoma in her cheek. She's been going to Rochester. She just got done with chemo. Now she's going to start radiation. Just a darling little girl. And so it was a fun night. But I was bummed for a number of reasons. I was bummed because it happens every year on a Saturday. So I normally miss an Iowa game. And then I wasn't able to watch the Iowa game because it was on Peacock, and they had Hulu and YouTube TV, but they didn't have a Peacock subscription. So I'm looking at the TVs. They had like the Rutgers game on. I'm like, can somebody put the Iowa game on, please? Please put the Iowa game on. They're like, we don't have it.
You missed a good one, dude.
And then I missed sound off. I hate missing sound off because I
Black and Gold Rush.
Black and Gold Rush. Yes,
Yeah.
still
What the
sorry.
hell is that you talked about?
I have no idea what that is. Well, yeah, everybody's missing sound off because it's not the same anymore. But the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. I got home about 10:15. I was sitting down here with Owen. He produced your show that night, and I was watching a little bit. I'm like, I wonder if I should just sit down and hop in. And I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna sit back. And I think I was so exhausted I fell asleep by the end of the show. But yeah, I know I missed a good one. I missed a comeback. I missed Iowa winning 25-24. Just a range of emotions. Was it fun watching it with my son? You and Owen watching it together?
Yeah, it was like watching a game with you. He said maybe 4 words to me the entire time. It was just like I felt like, oh yeah, this is the old times here. It's all quiet. There's just somebody sitting there. Yeah, I like this.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Fun night, man. We had a great show. Took a ton of phone calls. Trav, it was one of those where we've talked about this a lot. How that show becomes therapy, and you get to kind of think about things from all angles. It's at time. I'm going to be careful with my words because it's not like disappointing or anything like that. But it's always strange when you win a game like that. A game that at the beginning of the year most of us thought the Hawks would probably lose. And they come away with the win. They do it in a dramatic fashion. And you've got big plays in there that really, ignite a crowd. And then afterwards, you still have people that are like, I want more. I want more. I don't want to be a team. Because, we get a caller early on that says, hey, I'm just kind of curious. What exactly are we playing for? What exactly does it all mean right now, right? And you go, oh.
Well,
you're not playing for a college football playoff. You're not.
Aren't you? Well, and that's where I struggle, right? Because you're 5-2 right now. You've won 4 in a row. You're 3-1 in the Big Ten. It really is a one game at a time. And this is where on the thumbnail for YouTube, I put opportunity knocks because you can finish 10-2. Now you got
gets
Minnesota.
You in the college football playoff.
But here's my worry, Ross. Does it? Because right now, Iowa getting 0 votes in the Associated Press poll. They're getting 0 votes in the coaches poll. And I'm like, oh, have they dug themselves too big of a hole? But then I go, okay, Indiana's the number 2 team in the country. They lost to Indiana. I know that. I'm not trying to justify it, but that was a close game. It was a game they could have easily won. You lost to Iowa State on the road. Iowa State is not a bad football team. And so I go, are there opportunities there, or is the hole too deep, even at 10-2, to say you're a college football playoff team? I don't know. I think we're in this. If you're Kirk Ferentz, you're saying all you can do is take care of your own business.
Right. We can win our way in.
But you can't look ahead, and really it is a cliche, one game at a time, because you got a hell of a run coming up. You got Minnesota coming up, who look really good on Friday night against Nebraska. Sacked Dylan Raiola 9 times. 9 times. Then you have Oregon coming up. If you beat Oregon at home, which is the number 6 team in the country this week, then the narrative starts to change a little bit. Then you have to go to USC. They do go to USC, and there's
Which is tough. Going west is always really hard, and USC is a good football team too.
It is a good football team. Yeah. So you're kind of right. You're stuck in this no man's land. What are you playing for? Well, if you go 10-2, you're going to have, at least I believe at that point, serious conversations about, because you're probably going to finish 3rd, maybe 4th in the Big Ten.
And that gets you in the college football playoff.
It should.
10-2 and 4th in the Big Ten gets you in the college football playoff. I guess I'm probably making the mistake, Travis, of already chalking up an L. Which is stupid. If you're a fan, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't give up on your team before the whistle even blows. So, yeah, you were right. Opportunity does knock. You had to win that one on Saturday in order to keep this thing alive or keep it going. But there was this tone A little bit. I don't want to paint it with a broad brush at all. For the most part, it was, man, what a great day to be a Hawkeye. The people that were calling from inside or that had been inside of Kinnick Stadium that were coming home on I-80, it was like, this was electric. That was fun. That was a great atmosphere. So yeah, I shouldn't just chalk up the Oregon game as a loss already. That one's going to be that should be another raucous environment in Kinnick Stadium, and then going west and playing USC is a tough challenge. But it's not an unwinnable game.
No, Michigan State. You shouldn't lose to Michigan State.
You shouldn't lose to Minnesota, Michigan State, or Nebraska now. After watching Nebraska against Minnesota, that's not the team that I thought they were going to be early in the year. But still got a month and a half before that game takes place, something like that. So things can get a little bit weird between now and then. Looking at this weekend, watching that Iowa team, seeing how they've gotten better, Gronowski looked really good. Now, again, you can't look at his – it's one of those games, Trav, you almost have to see it to understand what an impact he had. Because the stat line, even with the 130 rushing yards, which is amazing, his stat line as a quarterback was not great. He had like 68 passing yards, something like that.
But ran for, 132?
Ran for 130, 132, something like that. And huge, huge plays. I mean, a couple of them that are in pivotal moments, which is, again, it's not just what the stats are. It's what the game looks like and how that it plays out. How it plays out. Man, words are hard today.
Words are hard.
So very enthused by how Gronowski has continually played better and better and better. And even Trav, like, he had a couple of balls, like the interception that he had bounces off a receiver. A few drops and then a few balls where he's rolling out and just throws the ball away to avoid a sack. So all in all, like we've said most weeks, the best game we've seen from him in a Hawkeye uniform. And if that continues, man, they're going to be a really tough team. Defense looked good. Had a drive early. They turned the ball over and Penn State scored on a short field, okay? A few things happened in this game that if you just take a few plays away, it's a completely different football game. Now, again, on the other side, too, Penn State can look at it and go, man, we make one or two stops, they win this football game. But the Hawkeyes had an interception that gave Penn State a short field. They had a blocked 66-yard field goal that Penn State returned for a touchdown right at the end of the first half. They also had the Hawks had a situation where they had stopped Penn State on fourth down at the goal line, but they were called for a defensive offsides, and then Penn State scored on the very next play. So, man, you take a few of these plays away, and we're not really having a conversation about a 25-24 game. We're having a conversation about the Hawkeyes winning this game by a couple of possessions. So,
should they have tried a 66-yard field goal?
Dude, in the moment, I'm like, I loved it. In the moment, I loved it. I thought, this is cool. We're going to try a 66-yard field goal because my brother-in-law is sitting right next to me as we're watching the game. And it gets blocked, and they take it back. And my brother-in-law looks at me, and he goes, you know what? That's one of those plays that if Ferentz just takes a knee, Hawkeye fans are killing him. Hawkeye fans are mad because he doesn't take a shot. You got a kicker that can kick the ball that far.
And that's the thing. We've seen Drew Stevens have the foot earlier in the season. So you're like, okay, 66 yards, it's a long field goal, but we think it's doable.
So something you need to know since you didn't get to see it, Trav. Here's something that happened. They line up for this 66-yard field goal. Right as they go to snap it, Penn State calls a timeout. The whistles blow. Tweet, 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 tweet. Iowa snaps the ball. Holder catches it, puts it down, and Drew Stevens goes up and gives it a whirl. Now, the Penn State coach freaks out because apparently that's supposed to be a delay of game penalty. If the play is blown dead and they continue to take a shot, get that kind of practice rep in, that's supposed to be a delay of game penalty. The officials decided that the whistle had blown too soon, that they didn't, that it was too quick. They couldn't rush out there and actually prevent him from kicking it, so they didn't give him a penalty. But it did give Stevens a shot. Now, that kick, Travis, landed about 10 yards short.
Really?
Now, so Kluver is on with us afterwards. And Tyler Kluver was gracious enough to give us some time to do the Black and Gold Rush with me on Saturday night. And Kluver says a couple things. Like, number one, Drew Stevens absolutely has that leg. That he's got the leg to hit a 66-yard field goal. They would not run him out there to try it if they hadn't seen him do it in practice. I do think that having that one land 10 yards short, and again, he didn't give it his all. He kind of did like a little practice rep. And Brant says it landed 8 yards into the end zone. So a couple yards short. Again, I say 10 yards short because it landed short and bounced to the back of the end zone.
10 yards is probably accurate. If it landed 8 yards in the end zone, you still got to be 10 feet up in the air. I mean,
yeah, it's schematics.
It's all geometry.
Right, exactly.
It was short.
Right, it was short. And Hawkeye fans were like, oh, why do you let him kick it if you know he can't get it that far? Well, Kluver's the expert. He's our expert in this, right? And he says, you don't do that unless you've seen it happen in practice. And I think there's some truth to that Coach Ferentz wouldn't have just gambled and said, hey, you know what, let's try this. But because it landed short, I think he changes his trajectory. He's got to keep it lower. Penn State blew up the Iowa offensive line on that play. They got 3 yards into the backfield, blocked it. It bounced perfectly into the hands of the Penn State edge rusher that was coming in, and nobody could touch him. I mean, he was off to the races. It was a touchdown from the minute it was blocked. And so you look at it and go, oh, that's a really dumb move by Coach Ferentz. And he did take accountability afterwards. He said, yep, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have tried that kick. That thing goes through, and every Hawkeye fan's like, yeah, how come you haven't been doing that for 25 years?
Yeah, 100%. Because if you don't try the field goal, you're like, you threw up the white flag, right? Because we've seen Drew Stevens hit long field goals earlier in the season that you're like, okay, he can hit this. So it's okay to take accountability, but you understand every time you line up to punt, every time you line up to kick a field goal, that's a possibility, right? I mean, it is a possibility that that's going to happen. I don't have a problem. Even though Kirk Ferentz takes accountability for it, fine, that's great. I don't have a problem trying a 66-yard field goal.
That's what a coach does. That's what a coach
leadership
like Kirk Ferentz does, is say, oh, yeah, shouldn't have done that. Why shouldn't you have done that? Because it didn't work. It didn't work. I shouldn't have done it.
And if it goes in, it's like we had every belief. He's been hitting those in practice for a long time. It's just two different narratives. You own up to the mistake, or you take credit for something good that happens. So, at the end of the day, you won the game, 25-24.
And it's funny how that show always does that cycle, right, Trav? You get. That's why I don't want to paint the whole show with that broad brush at all. Of Hawkeye fans are so. Not at all. We had a few that called in and said, man, I just want a little bit more. You and I have that feeling. You and I have that exact feeling. Like, man, I want to be a playoff team. I want to be a perennial playoff team. I want to not lose to Indiana and Iowa State, and those are good football teams, but darn it, I want to be better than them. And then you have somebody that calls in and says, hey, we just beat Penn State. We just beat Penn State. A preseason, they're not the Penn State we thought they were going to be, but they're a preseason top 5 team. We did have a caller by the name of Link, and I think somebody nailed it earlier.
That's Brent.
Is that Brent?
Because I was sitting right here when I go, Owen, what name did he give you?
You were there when Link called in?
Yeah.
You son of a...
What? I just gotten home.
You were there like halfway through the show.
Yeah. But you were on a roll. I was going to jump in. I hadn't seen any of the game. I'm like,
that's true.
That
would have been weird. That'd been weird. Can you guys tell me what happened?
Yeah, fill me in. I'm just going to jump in and participate in the show. I had makeup like all over my face. I'm like, I would have looked stupid.
Dude, I almost called him out. Because I could hear that tone, and I've got a pretty good ear for voices and stuff. I almost said, "Hey, is this Brent?" He was the one that pointed out that the Hawkeyes are 12-12 against Penn State. I would not have guessed. I don't know why I wouldn't have guessed that, because, man, the Hawkeyes have played that. Every Penn State-Iowa game is a close game. Not everyone. But
is that 12-12 with Kirk Ferentz as coach? Because I thought coming in, Penn State led the series 18-14.
Well, there's no way they've played Penn State 24 times in Ferentz era.
Or is it 12-12 at Kinnick State? I'm just trying to figure out, because I'll have to go back in the notes. I thought Penn State led the overall series 18-14, but still,
there might be something in there. Yeah. And whenever a caller says things with authority, I just go, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I write it down like it's fact.
Because I heard him say that. I'm like, I don't think that 12 and 12 is right, but I didn't have the game notes with me, and I'm like,
And then I do
I'm
have to
tired.
tell you, the show kind of ended on a strange note, okay? Because Senorita Puffer called in, who we love hearing from Senorita Puffer.
Yeah.
And she shared her thoughts just like every other caller. And then she hangs up and Booker calls in right behind her, right? And Booker, who's got away, like Booker, a few times Booker has said things about people and they stick. Like he said something about Derek from New Sharon one time, I remember, and Derek couldn't let it go. He said something one time about, remember, we used to have that guy that used to call in named Scott. And Booker called in one time and was like, something about Scott. And Scott couldn't let it go. He was like, man, that guy said bad things about me. The last call of the night we take is Booker, and he called Senorita Puffer a name. And I was like, oh, damn it. Booker.
Called her a vagina, right?
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, you were listening.
No, you told me earlier.
Yeah,
you told
called her
I
a
was
vagina.
sleeping. I was sleeping by that time, but I can't believe you're going to give me a hard time.
I'm joking.
Can't believe you're going to give me a hard time.
Listen, you did the right thing by not jumping on the show, because literally we would have had to be like, oh my God, here's what you missed. And then you missed this.
Yeah,
And then you missed
I
this.
didn't want to do that. I didn't want to derail it.
All right.
I had to put my ego aside and say, no, I'm out
me
this week.
calling in after the Wisconsin game. I hadn't seen a single down of it. What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? Hey, good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it. Today at 9:59 a.m. is the cutoff time to enter your non-winning tickets for the Cyclone and Hawkeye football promotions from the Iowa Lottery. Don't forget, with the Iowa State game, you can enter a winning or non-winning Mega Millions ticket into your Iowa Lottery VIP club account for your chance to win a VIP suite experience at Jack Trice Stadium for the Arizona State game on November 1st. Also, at the same time, your chance to enter a non-winning Iowa Blackout Scratch ticket into your Iowa Lottery VIP club account for a second chance promotion for your choice of the Iowa football game, I believe against Oregon at Kinnick Stadium on coming up in 2 weeks. So if you're not a VIP club member, go to iowalottery.com and click on VIP, and you can sign up today for free, but you got to have those winning and non-winning tickets ready to go. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Hi, Nate Shoesmith with Willis Cadillac. I'm the newest addition to the team. Wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know what awesome deals we have on our EVs today. This month we have 2.9% up to 60 months on our Cadillac Optic, Lyric, and Vistic. For all you Escalade fans out there, we are happy to have 3 in stock right now available. We also have this beautiful blue 2026 CT5V, new for the year color. If you'd like to schedule a test drive, visit us at williscadillac.com or visit our showroom today.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday. Getting cooler outside. Ross slept with the windows open last night. Dude. I slept with the windows open.
Beautiful. Love it. I mean, kids hate it. I love it. Kids wake up, they're like, it's 55 degrees in the house. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it is. We should get our guy from Priority One on, because I'm going to have to fire the furnace up here soon. Yes. It's going to get down to 38 degrees or something the next couple of days.
We might have a frost this week, from what I hear.
Eventually, here's what I have to do. I have to wait for the sun to come out, warm the house up a little bit, and then I'm going to shut everything down and turn the furnace on.
But I would like some tips before I turn the furnace on. I think I know what I have to do, but you're right. Of course, Priority One, a good and proud sponsor of the Rush Radio Show. We haven't talked to him before, so it'd be nice to get him on and say, hey, what do we need to do before we fire up this thing and have that furnace smell in our house? Because the first furnace run of the year, you're like, oh, the furnace is on. Furnace is on.
As a dog owner, what's the first thing that happens when you fire up the furnace?
I've never paid attention. They go sit right by the vents.
Smell of burning hair.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. The first time I fire up the furnace, it's like the
because all the hair in the vents,
the dog hair that's been stuck in the vent gets sucked in, and all of a sudden you're like, ew.
Is that the smell we're actually getting then when you fire it up? Is all the dust and grime in your vents?
I think so. I mean, because it's all been sitting there. And that's the first thing I get. Maybe I'm playing my cards here on what a dirty dog I am.
Damn. Did you watch the Creighton Iowa State scrimmage on Friday night?
Are you serious right now?
I was throwing it out there. I saw a lot of people bitching online because Creighton had you could pay to watch the scrimmage.
Yeah, I had friends that did because my buddy Ryan Grove, who listens to our show, he was texting us and kind of letting us know about it. And he's like, why aren't you guys watching this game? Somebody else is like, you're watching the game? And he's like, yeah, there's a pay-per-view link that you can get. We're like, dude, you're a diehard.
Well, how about this for being a diehard? There were 15,500 people at the CHI Center on Friday night to watch Iowa State and Creighton play an exhibition game. Now, it was on regular TV over here, so public television went ahead and put it on. And I'm watching it, and I go, I hope people don't take these things seriously, because it was a scrimmage. Yes, Iowa State got beat handily, but it wasn't like the intensity and either team was like playing like for real. You know how you can tell somebody's playing for real?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're playing, it's a practice. You're playing a scrimmage. I get it. It's good. You need to play those games. You need to be in game like situation. But if you're panicking or you're like, oh my God, I'm like, oh my.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody, nobody was reacting to it. You know what I mean? Nobody was. I didn't see anybody like, oh, we got to panic or anything like that. I don't even know what was the final score?
Like 72-50 something. I mean, it was.
Who won?
Creighton.
Okay.
Quite handily. But, I mean, Iowa State played better in the second half. But again, I'm watching this going, it kind of reminded me not as bad as the NBA All-Star game, but you're just looking at some defensive possessions going, you shouldn't risk injury in an exhibition game. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you already got Taman Lipsey's out for maybe a couple more weeks. You don't need to risk anything more. But it was just one of those things like, I didn't know if you watched it because they had some problems with the I guess some people had some problems with the pay-per-view.
Okay.
And to me, if you're gonna have a pay-per-view, I get why you do it. However, if you have streaming problems and it doesn't work 100%, you should refund the money. If you missed like 20 minutes of the game, you shouldn't have to pay for that. You should be getting a refund because you expected to pay for 40 minutes of basketball. That's why
it's a scrimmage. It's a scrimmage. Like there were games that mattered on Saturday. There were college football games that were
this was Friday night
and importance. Okay, there were football games happening Friday night that had weight and importance. I'm not trying to be dismissive of it. It's a scrimmage. What are we doing?
But I think it shows you, Ross, and I know where you're coming from. I do. But people are just jonesing for something new. It's like, okay, well, we're not going to do the college football playoff now, so we got to put our attention towards basketball because basketball is where the hope is.
Yeah.
Always selling hope, man. Always selling hope.
Well, they're always selling something. I think Tyler hits it on the head here, man. If you're selling pay-per-views for a scrimmage, woo! You nailed it. Pay. That's the key word here. Pay. Whatever. Can we talk football?
Absolutely. Can we talk football, please? Dude, can we get off the basketball, please?
Can we get off basketball practice?
And that's what it was, a practice.
There's nothing you should take. You shouldn't look at it and go, oh, my God, we're 15 points worse than Creighton. No, it was a practice. It was a scrimmage. And by the way, I love what Kirk said here. If you paid to watch a scrimmage online and it didn't work, tough titty.
That's your problem.
Did you like that movie, The Jerk? Or no, it was The Toy. The Toy with Richard Pryor. Do you remember that movie?
I do. I think that's like a one-time watch. So, and that was.
Oh, no.
Do I need to rewatch it? Yeah. Do I need to rewatch it?
I thought The Toy was a fascinating movie. There's so many funny things in The Toy.
Was The Toy like 1978, 1979?
Right,
or was
early 80s? The guy's name is U.S.
1982.
1982, yeah. But his girlfriend got a southern accent, so she always calls him U.S. The whole movie. I'm telling you, there's little tiny things. But one of those, Richard Pryor ends up becoming, it's Jackie Gleason is the guy. He basically, his son, he's a really rich guy. He doesn't have time for his kid, so he wants to pay some adult to come and hang out with his kid so that his kid gets some sort of enjoyment and entertainment. And he hires Richard Pryor to basically be the kid's friend for a while. And there's a great line in it when Richard Pryor is talking to the kid about life. And he's like, what are you mad because life ain't fair? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, well, say to God, life ain't fair. And you know what God's going to say back? Tough titty. Oh, those things stick with you.
So I'm going to go back and have to watch the toy.
The Toy is a fun one. It is a fun movie.
Richard Pryor, one of the great ones.
Charlie's right. It's a movie that's one a lot like Tropic Thunder. You could not do because it plays on a lot of Southern stereotypes and racist stereotypes, and yeah, there's a lot to it. But that's a fun one. So anyway, that's my. There you go.
If it stuck with you, it means
it didn't work. Tough titty.
Should have watched The Toy. I'm going to diverge. I know you want to talk about football, but because we're talking about stuff we watch, and I think people like it when we talk about stuff we watch. I texted you yesterday. I said you have to watch this documentary on Netflix. It's called The Perfect Neighbor. So we're going to talk about it right now. But if you haven't watched The Perfect Neighbor on Netflix yet, I think Ross and I both highly encourage you to do so because it's a documentary that is unlike any documentary I've ever seen. Meaning it's all original footage, all body cam footage from a case in Florida. It is wild.
The most fascinating part of it, I watch a ton of documentaries. The most fascinating part of it is there's no narration. There's no commentary at all. Not a single word of commentary is uttered during this entire thing. It is all just put together real
just
footage.
The facts.
Yeah, from body cams. Most of it is body cams. Some of it is like cameras inside of buildings, but most of it is just body cam footage from the Florida Police Department, from the Florida cops. I think it's actually the Marion County sheriffs that are there. It's a really interesting documentary.
I mean, it's sad and what went down, but you're like, oh my God, you're batshit crazy. And you knew she was batshit crazy from the beginning. I mean, as soon as the opening shot, you go, oh, you're one of those. You're one of those neighbors.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a tough watch. And I think that, I don't, it's easy to come away from it and be like, man, the cops didn't do their job. I'm not sure what the cops could have done. I really don't know how they could have prevented this thing. If you want to really be critical about something, it's got to be that big conversation that we've had about like mental health, because this woman is obviously crazy. She's obviously the problem to everybody. So even the cops, after 3 or 4 times, the cops are like, oh boy, we know what's going on here. We can see it. And they show up and they even go to the other people and they're like, hey, we've been here before. We know what's happening. It's tough.
She was crazy, but knew the line she could take it without getting in trouble. And that's why the cops were like, hamstrung. And they're like, and you just knew it was going to end badly. And it was just, and even Ross, I don't know if they were trying to make the cops look bad, because the last half of it was, why haven't you arrested her? You need to, you had the no justice, no peace rallies. You had Al Sharp to get involved. But I understood why they didn't arrest her to start with. I mean, you kind of, they had to.
In Florida, they have the stand your ground law. And the documentary does, again, with no commentary, it's great. You get to take away from it what.
Yeah.
You get your own interpretation of all of it. You process all of it. Nobody's telling you what to think at all during the documentary. It's really cool how they do that. And I do think at one point my brain was going, man, maybe that stand your ground law needs to be reevaluated. Now I don't want to ruin it because there is some stuff in it that you'll want to watch. But there was a part of me that did question that a little bit too. I thought, man, that stand your ground law, there's some real wiggle room in that.
There's unintended consequences in the stand your ground law
right.
and how it's interpreted. But I highly recommend it. Ross mentioned it's all body cam footage and all interview room footage. And that was the fascinating part about it. I think I was more impressed because, the Des Moines Police Department, I think even over where I live, they don't like giving the body cam footage out. They don't like to release all that. And the fact that you were able to put a story almost 2 hours long that shows you how many times they visited that place.
And that's an interesting part of this too, Travis. It's not a series. They don't drag this thing out. You're not committing yourself to watching 6 episodes where there's a bunch of nonsense. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours long. I sat there and re-spooled a couple of my rods and reels while I was here, and it was great. Folded some laundry and It was a really. I'm glad you told me about it. I don't want to say fun, but cool watch. Entertaining and definitely had me thinking and kind of on the edge of my seat. And man, I Bob is exactly right. It says the show was great until it became all about race at the end. When Al Sharpton got involved because she was white. And
no, I will say I do think she was racist.
Oh, the woman was racist.
Yes.
I have no doubt about that. But the woman was also crazy.
Yes.
And I do think that, you've got, when you watch it, you've got white people that live in the neighborhood too. She was yelling at white kids too, but I'm with you. I think that this lady was crazy, first of all, and then a little bit racist on top of it. But if you want to, it should be more of a conversation about mental health, I think, than
and the stand your ground law, because that
Yes.
I mean that you kind of went, oh,
yeah.
There was no, and they caught her basically in not a stand your ground situation. I mean, they just had to get the facts, and once they got the facts, then it became
but it'll be a phenomenon. This is one of those that people are going to be watching in droves over the next couple of days and weeks. So, yeah, I'm glad you told me to watch it. Thank you.
The new Associated Press college football poll came out yesterday. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, Iowa not getting any votes. I'm going to ask you that, first of all. Minnesota beat Nebraska, got a vote. Are you surprised with Iowa winning 4 in a row and now 5-2, 3-1 the Big Ten? They're not getting any votes?
No, I'm not surprised at all, dude. When you look at Iowa's schedule right now, did you see this stat, Travis? They don't have a single win over a team that has a conference win. Every team that they've beat is winless in their conference, even their non-con schedule.
Iowa State doesn't have a conference win?
Every team Iowa has beat.
Oh, beaten. Okay.
Every team Iowa has a victory over does not have a conference win. I think the Hawkeyes are a good football team. I think they're a really good football team. I think you've lost to one great team in Indiana, and I think what's still a really good team in Iowa State. So you've got to give this thing some time to play out. You got to get quite frankly, the committee's probably waiting to see if they can play with Oregon. And then,
and that's fair.
I didn't think anything of it when I saw the college football playoff come out. I didn't expect the Hawkeyes to be getting votes. If you were expecting it, I'd maybe say you're probably looking at the world through black and gold glasses here, and you got to zoom out and look around the world because they don't have a great win.
And that's fair. You just laid it out perfectly of why Iowa not being taken seriously yet, but they have opportunity. Minnesota is going to be an opportunity. Oregon is an opportunity. USC is an opportunity. 515-517-2303. Let's go to Dean. Dean, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, Dean?
Morning, guys. Hey, I just want to make a couple comments about Saturday night's game. I was there on that long field goal try. I was talking to the guy beside me, and I said, I don't like this. Because one good thing could happen, 2 bad things could happen. You could have it blocked, or Penn State actually had a return guy back there. And if it's short, you've got a guy returning a kick with linemen out there, so that's not good. The other thing is when we got the ball and we're down 4 or 5, whatever, with just under 5 minutes left, there was a part of me this time that actually thought, hey, we've got a chance with this quarterback. And in the past, I haven't felt that way. I mean, I didn't feel that way with McNamara. I didn't feel that way with Deacon Hill. And I'm sure there's a lot of Hawkeye fans that feel the same way I did. Said,
that's a great point,
with those
Dean.
two,
that's
great.
a great point. Yeah, that's
we're not built to come from behind. And one last thing before I go, I hope either today or tomorrow, when the coaches have their meeting and sit down and get together, someone pipes up and says, you know what? We should never recruit a non-running quarterback again.
We heard that a few times.
You guys have a good day.
Thanks,
Talk to you later.
Dean.
Thanks.
Great
Dean.
call. We heard that a few times on Saturday night, Trav, where people were like, why would we ever want a quarterback that can't do that? I mean, Gronowski is not Michael Vick. But, dude, he gets out and starts running downhill. He's a big body. He's fast enough that he can keep distance from linebackers and stuff like that. You watch that and then Hawkeye fans start to remember back and go, wait, man, the times that we've been good. C.J. Beathard kept plays alive with his feet. He would change games with his feet. Now, he was known as a good quarterback, but he had that Gronowski thing about him that, man, if he got out in space, he could make a difference with his legs. Drew Tate, Brad Banks. Hawkeye fans remember this and go, man, why don't we just recruit guys like that? Because it's harder, it's easier said than done. And, you know, I hate this thing of bagging on the former quarterbacks. I hate it because it's Kirk Ferentz. Why do fans, we constantly make fun of Deacon Hill. Kirk Ferentz was the guy that recruited him, put him in as the backup quarterback, had him sitting there behind an injured dude who, once he got hurt bad enough that he couldn't actually play, Deacon Hill had to be the starting quarterback. So don't pick on that kid for being in that situation. Oh, deep dish. He couldn't get anything done. Big fat ass couldn't even throw. Your coach was the one that put him there. Your coach put him in that situation, and now everybody makes fun of him. I hate it. I hate it. So I wish that we didn't constantly do that of make fun of the guys who tried to put on the Tiger Hawk and do their best, and it didn't work out for them. And then we sit around and pick on them.
I don't disagree with you on that, but I don't disagree with what Dean said. Is that I don't think you can win a national title or a conference title without a mobile quarterback. Now, you have to be a dual threat quarterback. If you become one-dimensional, you become easier to stop. What I hope is that you have quarterbacks out there going, oh, I was letting their quarterbacks run the football. Now I might be interested in going to Iowa because I now know that they're going to let me run the football.
That I like. That I like a lot. Yes. And, Chad, I want to share this comment because this is something that pops in my head from time to time. Chad says, remember, it takes years to learn the Iowa offense. Remember, we were told that for a long time. Brian Ferentz would go, you can't just take somebody off the streets and teach them this complex Iowa offense. You think anybody can hand the ball off? I think that another thing of this is this idea that for the last couple of years, Kirk Ferentz has said, all right, I'm going to hand the reins to the best guy in the quarterback room. I don't care if he's been here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Who's my best chance to win? I'm going to give that guy the ball. Chad, I hope Chad is saying that tongue in cheek. We were lied to for a long time. We were lied to. And you should have seen through that. I think that Chad's saying that again.
I think that's sarcasm.
It should be sarcasm because I remember when Chad Lystico told us that he doing Hawk Central. He's like, yeah, man, Brian Ferentz says it takes years to learn this offense. What? Some of the best teams in the country turn a kid loose as a freshman or turn a kid loose the year he's on campus. How does this offense, which is embarrassingly bad, embarrassingly non-productive, how is this an offense that takes years to learn? And I think that now you see, the blinds come off and you go, oh, no, that was just what they were telling us. You should have known that from the minute they said it. Like, oh, that's a lie. That's a coach trying to justify a decision somewhere. And I think we got a lot of that with Brian Ferentz.
I think there's a difference between learning the offense and learning the entire playbook, right? When Bill Callahan came to Nebraska, he brought the West Coast offense from the Raiders, and everybody's like, well, it's an NFL book. It's that thick. You don't understand. I'm like, okay, that's the entire book. I get that, but the basics of an offense, no matter where you're at, doesn't take years.
Yeah,
shouldn't take you that long. Matter of fact, it hasn't taken Mark Gronowski that long because he didn't go through spring practice. He's doing just fine.
Exactly right. And you can look at those first couple games and go, the offense is better now than it was those first few games. Okay, so it takes a couple games to start to get into the rhythm. It's not years. This thing, we can't hand the ball off to some guy who just showed up on campus. He doesn't even know our system. Then recruit better. Then recruit better. Again, that goes back to the Deacon Hill thing of picking on the former quarterbacks. Somebody was making fun of Spencer Petras the other night, too. And I'm like, what are we doing? If you want to pick on somebody, pick on the coaches that put those guys in those positions, not the guy who got in that position and you didn't like.
Don't forget that here in Iowa, we grow corn. But the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn benefits the entire state. It feeds our livestock, nourishes our family, and provides homegrown, clean-burning, unleaded 88 for our vehicles. Pump it up with unleaded 88. Go to iowacorn.org to learn more. We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Your tires connect your vehicle to the road,
which means they take the brunt of every pothole, curb, or nail you come across. New tires are one of the most significant maintenance items you can perform on your car.
For the month of October, when you purchase 3 tires, you get the 4th for $1.
And proper alignment is the best way to maintain the longevity of your tires. That's why we give you a free alignment check with any regular service.
Give us a call
or schedule your service online at williscadillac.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. We appreciate your company. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, on the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for bringing us into your car this morning or on your phone. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give this video a like and leave your comments in the comment section. And you can follow us on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. We'll be hanging out with you till 8 o'clock today. We both had a good, productive weekend. I hope you did too. If you are enjoying what Ross is wearing today, he's got a good-looking hoodie on. And I mean a good-looking hoodie. It's the Black and Gold Rush comfy hoodie. You can get yourself one of those black and gold Rush hoodies. You can get a Rush Radio Show hoodie. If you're watching on YouTube, just go ahead and scan that QR code to take you right to our merch page. If you're listening on the audio stream, just go to therushradio.com, click on the merch tab, and you'll see a number of different options up there. And, support the Rush Radio Show and support Can Play Iowa, because a portion of the proceeds, 15%, go to Can Play Iowa. So, yeah, you look good today, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah. Feel good. Did you, so because you were working Saturday night doing your Scare Away Cancer thing, but I'm assuming guys around where you were keeping an eye on that Minnesota-Nebraska game. Did you get to watch that?
Well, that was Friday night. Remember, that was Friday night.
Golly, yeah. Man, what a weird weekend.
Which it worked out because, Scare Away Cancer's in Omaha, and it worked out that the Nebraska game was not that night because we knew they were going to be on the road. We always plan it either they on a bye week or if they're on the road, because you're like, okay, if they're on the road, you won't have enough people going out of town. But then when it fell on Friday night, you're like, oh, thank Jesus, people will show up and they won't be glued to the television. Nebraska's got issues, and surprising issues. A lot of people tried to say that it was the distraction of Matt Rule in the Penn State game. I'm like, that wasn't it. That you can't use that as an excuse to justify poor play. What it is you have a team that, one, did not make any adjustments coming out of halftime. Make zero adjustments coming out of halftime. But, Ross, you also have one position group. And Dr. Rob and I talked about this yesterday. And I'm going to go down a rabbit hole for you on Nebraska. I know people are like, I don't want to talk Nebraska. But I think people need to understand this rabbit hole that we're going down. There was one holdover from the Scott Frost coaching tree that stayed, and it's the offensive line coach. Okay, the offensive line unit, and if you look at Iowa State, especially if you look at Iowa, the offensive line, any college football team is the most important group on the offense. If you don't have an offensive line, it's going to be a long season for you. That's how Iowa's been able to be so consistent, is with its offensive line. Nebraska, you talked to Dr. Rob, who is part of those pipeline teams that were, they had one year he told me all 5 of those guys were drafted in the NFL. And you had an Outland Trophy winner. So he takes great pride in the offensive line, but the group hasn't gotten any better. Okay? The one holdover from the Scott Frost era is Donovan Raiola. Donovan Raiola was held over because at that time, the quarterback had not committed to Nebraska yet. And so you have a little bit of nepotism. Now, his dad played at Nebraska. Donovan was at Wisconsin at the time. Scott brought him in hopes of getting Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola didn't care for Scott Frost, went ahead and committed to Georgia. They fire Scott Frost. Matt Rule retains his uncle, and he then commits to Nebraska. The problem is the coaching and the development of that unit is not getting any better. So did you sacrifice, I'm just throwing this out there, did you sacrifice the greater good for one guy?
Yeah, are you when you lay it out that way, it certainly seems that way. Listen, and I don't want to kill Dylan Raiola. I would just, you and I had this conversation when I was up in Canada fishing. I remember I think most of us in Iowa. I will speak. I try not to do this. I'm going to speak for other people here. I think most of us in the state of Iowa are quite sick of hearing about how great the Nebraska quarterback is going to be.
And that's fair. I totally understand.
It's been happening for a decade or more. It's like, oh, you guys don't know how good Taylor Martinez is. You just wait. He's probably going to win 3 Heismans. And it's been that tone over and over and over and over. And then you go, okay, got to prove it to me. Got to show me something. Got to win games. And you're right. Is it Dylan Raiola or is it the offensive line? It's the offensive line.
It is. It's the offensive line. Think about it. Against Michigan, he was sacked 7 times. Against Minnesota, he was sacked 9 times. And if you're a defense now, no matter who if you're playing Nebraska, you're taking those rush ends and you're just pinning back and you're going to blitz 55-60% of the time. Especially if you're in 3rd and long, you're going after them
Mazer has a good line. Dylan Raiola took more sacks than Jenna Jameson. I don't know what that means, but I thought it was funny.
You know what that means. You know what that means. But and so, I mean, they've now lost 6 in a row to Minnesota. They haven't won in Minneapolis since 2015.
Wow.
And that's why.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know, you can blame, say, Matt Rule was distracted with the Penn State talk. That's an excuse.
Bull.
That is an excuse to look at your inferiority when it comes to offensive line play, and you have a problem with the offensive line coach having the same last name as your quarterback, and you're scared to fire him because you're worried that your quarterback might up and leave, and his brother, who's also committed to Nebraska to play quarterback, might not fulfill his obligation. You can't sacrifice an entire position group, the most important position group on a team, for the sake of keeping one guy around. You can't do it. It's not good.
The reason that I'm glad we're getting to this, because I did see some people in the chat earlier say, hey, we can't sleep on Minnesota. And I do feel like the last couple of years, man, it has been Minnesota, in the middle of the year, I'm watching Minnesota and going, man, they're really good. They're getting better. But it's like PJ Fleck kind of runs out of, and I don't want to say PJ Fleck, it's like the team kind of runs out of steam, or they just don't have the depth maybe that when you get some tired legs and you get some injuries, it just feels like Minnesota kind of peters out as the season goes on.
I'm going to piss people off here.
Okay.
Minnesota's Iowa.
Explain.
I mean, just in the makeup, they're a run-dominant football team. They're probably going to be 7-5, 8-4. That's what I mean. I think there's a lot of similarities between the two teams, because what you just described there, Ross, is what I think a lot of people would say about Iowa in those years, where you're good, but you're just not that good.
Yeah, I mean, again, seeing the world through my black and gold glasses and loving Coach Ferentz and all that, I want to argue, I want to push back and say, yeah, but the Hawkeyes get better as the year goes on. And I know you're looking at it from a macro view.
Yeah,
you're saying, what is a lot like my take on Hawkeye basketball under Fran, when I was telling people, hey, we need to wake up. Hawkeye basketball is Northwestern. And people would go, oh, we're way better than Northwestern. No, we aren't. No, we weren't under Fran McCaffrey. We weren't. Look at the zoom out, and look at the performance, and look at how much getting to the NCAA tournament and winning in the NCAA tournament. You're not good. It's not good. So I see what you're saying there. Like from a macro viewpoint, both of these teams on the nationwide status, they're probably seen as that 7-8. Boy, if you have a great season, get to 9-10 wins.
Get to 9 wins, yeah. May not be every year, but that's kind of what it's going to be. I don't think culture-wise they're even close to being the same.
Thank you. That's what I was hearing initially.
No, I'm not saying culture-wise. Yeah. I'm saying in that macro, expectation, what's probably really realistically going to happen, kind of the same.
I did watch that game on Friday and think Hawkeyes beat both these teams. Even before I watched them against Penn State, and I think that, parts of Iowa's team looked as good as they are going to look. The special teams had some issues, obviously, but even the defense was – it's hard to look at the 24 points because the defense did play really good. Penn State scored on a short field after an interception. They scored on that blocked kickoff, or blocked field goal, and blocked kickoff. That'd be a play.
How did that happen?
Right. I didn't know you could do that.
I jumped up. I was able to.
Why don't we block the kickoff every time?
My God, he's got a 94-inch vertical leap. Didn't know you could do that.
That'd be great. Do the rugby thing where you throw a guy into the air. Anyway, the defense did play good. Offensive line, Trav, the running game for the Hawks at one point early in the game, they were pounding Penn State, gashing that team with runs. So I look at that and I think Iowa beats both of those teams. Things change from week to week. you got to get ready for this team, and you got to get ready to play a really good game on Saturday. But I think Iowa beats Minnesota on Saturday.
I think here's the way I would look at it. There are no guarantees the rest of the way. There just aren't. If Minnesota were to win on Saturday, would I be surprised? Yes, but would I be shocked?
Yeah,
no. I think, Ross, I'll be disappointed if Iowa were to lose to Minnesota, Michigan State, or Nebraska. If they lose to Oregon and USC, I'm not going to be blown away by that. I'm going to go, well, you're playing Oregon, which is the number 6 team in the country, and you have to go to the West Coast to play USC, which is also a pretty darn good football team. Otherwise, those other 3, you go, But if you can beat Oregon at home, what I hate is,
dude, you beat Oregon at home. Like now, all of a sudden, it's a rocket ship.
Yeah,
because you beat Oregon at home, you are in the college football playoff poll. And then if you beat USC, you just got to beat Minnesota. But if you beat Oregon and USC, now all of a sudden that college football playoff is in hand. Beat Michigan State and Nebraska, and you're in the. I do believe that a 2-loss, a 10-2 Big Ten team is in. And I don't care which team it is. A 10-2 Big Ten team is in the college football playoff.
Well, getting back to the Nebraska conversation and that offensive line conversation is because I believe Nebraska under Matt Rule in year 3 has more talent than it has in a long time. But talent does not always win you football games. And when we talk about developmental programs, that's what Iowa is able to do. I think Minnesota's been able to. I think Iowa State is able to. When you can't develop, you can't just rely on talent alone. If you step on campus and go, you're the most talented guy, but you don't get better over the next 4 years, well, then you're not that good. And Nebraska's not developing its offensive line. And that's why they are struggling and will continue to struggle. And they'll have problems because you can't fix it now in 5 weeks. You can't. Not with the same coaching, not with the same expectation. You may get lucky. You may roll off a couple wins, but you're still going to have those deficiencies to where, Ohio State doesn't line up and worry. Ohio State's a pretty darn good football team. Not only does Ohio State get talent, but they're developing that talent. Those guys get better. Alabama lost the first game of the season. Alabama's had the most brutal schedule maybe in college football. I think 5 straight wins over ranked teams now. They're up to number 4 in the country. I would say Kalen DeBoer has been able to develop talent and get that in the right direction. So you can have all the 5 stars you want, but if you can't make them better, you're going to – let's use Texas. Texas is an example. You have a lot of 5 stars. You have a lot of talent. But are they developing?
Did you see that one on Saturday? They needed overtime. They needed overtime to beat Kentucky. Kentucky hit a field goal to force overtime, and then went for it on 4th and short at the goal line in their first overtime possession and got stood up. Tried to do the Walter Payton leap over the line, and the dude got Scud missiled. Patriot missiled. Because it was the Scud missiles that would fly in and the Patriot missiles would blow them.
Is that what it was? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He tried to play
Scud missiles. I haven't heard the Scud missile reference in a long time. Nice reference, 1992. Wait till I
break out my hanging chads later on in the day.
Oh, my God. You're going full political. We got Scud missiles, Patriot missiles, and hanging chads. But while we were talking about that and not developing players and not winning football games, it was firing. We're going to get earlier and earlier. Florida beats Mississippi State. Billy Napier is booed coming off the field, and they fire him after winning a game. They fire Billy Napier. It's no surprise that Billy Napier got fired. He's, 3-4 on the season. He's going to be owed $21 million, Ross. Here's the funny thing about Florida. They owe him $21 million. Half of that has to be given to him in the next 30 days. And then you have 3 annual installments, which means Florida, for firing Billy Napier at $21 million, will be hiring a new football coach, paying Billy Napier, and still paying Dan Mullen. They will be paying 3 head football coaches at the same time. Let me repeat that. They will be paying 3 head football coaches at the same time. They're still paying Dan Mullen, who's at UNLV. I always wondered why Dan Mullen, went to ESPN. I go, why didn't he get back in? Because he was getting paid. He's still getting paid from Florida to get fired. Good deal if you can get it. But do you think the timing of this was, hey, James Franklin was just on ESPN talking about he can't wait to coach again, and he didn't hit his goal of winning a national title at Penn State, but he's going to win a national title the next place he goes. Florida goes, okay.
We got a spot for you.
Not only can, if we fire him now, we can hire him by the end of the season and say, hey, we'll let this coaching staff finish out the year. But that way people know that you're the head coach at Florida and the recruiting and the mindset can start.
And the hope.
And the hope.
The hope. That again, that
the
key
hope.
word that really matters to fundraising, that really matters to NIL right now. You got to have hope. You got to sell hope to the fan base, and it's not a knock. This is not. I'm not being cynical, Ross, right now. I'm just being really honest. You got to sell hope to folks, and once you sell the hope to them, then you got to deliver on some of that hope, and if you don't, then you get Norvell, then you get, quite frankly, James Franklin at Penn State. They had a lot of hope this year. If you don't deliver on it, that's when people start to question. So that would make sense to me, Travis. I think what you just laid out there is a really good line of thinking, where they fire him, they can bring in James Franklin. I think James Franklin at Florida makes sense.
So do I.
Going to have resources, going to have recruiting base, going to have talent. The guy's done well with talent. Didn't deliver this year like he thought he was supposed to, or they thought he was supposed to, but he's been good.
I'm going to say this, and you may totally disagree with me.
Okay.
And I've been wrong before, but this is my gut feeling. How many times have we had people call into the show or get onto the chat and say, NIL and transfer portal it's changed. The college game is different than what it is. It's just not college football anymore. I'm going to say this. When it comes to the play on the field, I don't think it's any different. Matter of fact, I think it's better. I like the parity that we're seeing in college football. I like that. The unintended or maybe unseen circumstance is the demand on the coaches. What I don't like in college football is that if you don't have a winner in 3 years, you're gone. And guys like Curt Cignetti have ruined it for a lot of guys who really want to build a program. It used to be, hey, you need 5 years. And people are saying, well, with the transfer portal now, you don't need 5 years. I don't think you can't compare every situation. It's not always an apples-to-apples comparison. And I don't know if I think it's fair for some of these coaches to get at. Sometimes culture, you just know it's not a right fit. But I think if you're firing a coach after 2 years, after 3 years, are you really giving it the shot that it deserves? Or does everybody expect Curt Cignetti to walk in and be into college football playoff year one? Because that's the unseen circumstance that I didn't see coming with NIL and transfer portal.
What a good question, Travis. Okay, so Curt Cignetti, when they hired him, and maybe somebody will know, when they hired him from James Madison, did they think that this was going to happen?
No.
I don't think so either.
Here's what they didn't know they hired. And you're going to think I'm crazy for saying this. They hired a savant who understands almost the Moneyball situation of bringing the right guys together from different points, right? I think he is a managerial savant. Somebody asked me, would Cignetti ever go to the National Football League? I go, no, because why would he? I go, he doesn't want to answer to a general manager. He controls everything from a roster standpoint. He understands the people that are going to make it work and the positions to put them in. I think he's extremely organized. You don't have to like him, but you have to acknowledge the guy he's a rare breed savant.
Dude, that line of, I'm a winner, Google me. That resonates with kids. That resonates with fans. That's a confidence. It's cocky. That's a cocky line to say that.
But I want a coach that's sure of himself.
Absolutely, you do. If somebody pointed out on Saturday night, Nick says it. Nick, good to hear from you, buddy. I'm going to be getting in touch with you soon here. But Nick points it out. UI has the money, and somebody pointed out on Saturday that's Mark Cuban that showed up with all the money and said, "Hey, make this thing a winner." So you do got the money to bring in the people. But it's over and over I say, it's the people. If it's not Kurt Cignetti, they could have paid somebody else. I mean, look, they were paying James Franklin. There's lots of money at Penn State. Why aren't they winning? Wrong people. Wrong players, wrong coaches. It's not the right fit. Why is Kurt Cignetti winning? Right people. You can throw money at a problem. That ain't the fix. If you have the same people in the positions, it doesn't matter what their salary is. You don't become a better football coach because all of a sudden you make more money. You don't become a better football player because all of a sudden you're making more money. In fact, oftentimes the opposite is true.
Now, money does help. I'm not going to deny that, right? I mean, but you're right. There's a lot of teams out there with a lot of money that aren't living up to, that aren't performing like Indiana.
We just talked about Florida.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, well, wait a minute. They got the money to pay 3 coaches, but they can't win? So it's not the money. The money helps. The money might be one of the first things you got to have. If you don't have the right people, it ain't going to happen. So, okay, but back to your conversation. That's a really good question, Travis, about those expectations. And quite frankly, I have no problem with it. I really don't. These coaches are making millions of dollars. There should be expectations with those salaries. If you're making $100,000, there's expectations with that. There's serious. It's not, oh, yeah, we granted you this job because you're just the most wonderful person with the best charismatic personality. Here you go. Here's our money. Take it.
But I guess my point is, I'm not saying there shouldn't be expectations. In the old way of thinking, you hired somebody, and usually a coach said, no matter where you're at, I got a 5-year plan. You got to let me have this 5-year plan. Now, it's a 1 or 2 year plan.
Right, because you said it right, the first 2 words, old way. In the old system, you needed to recruit a kid that was a sophomore in high school so that in 3 years he could be a redshirt freshman for you, and in 5 years he could possibly be a starter as a redshirt sophomore. That's the old way. The new way is win now. There's a lot of talent out there.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
And I can go along with you on that. But is it the same for Jay Norvell, who just got fired at Colorado State, when you're saying yes, but you're not.
No,
I can't compare Colorado State to Florida. To Florida. I can't do it.
And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. But Colorado State also doesn't play the same teams that Florida and Penn State do.
Yeah, but every time you get a good player, if they're worth a shit, they're going to be out the door for money.
And so this is why we're paying you, Jay Norvell. You're right. That's the new world. And by the way, not even new world. It's the world we live in. Yeah, if you recruit a kid and he's really good, somebody with more money is going to come and snatch him up. Guess what happened 10 years ago when you had a really good kid at Colorado State? He got recruited by other people. He could transfer. Nick Saban was knocking on his door. That stuff has always happened. Jay Norvell, we're going to pay you millions of dollars so that you're aware of this, because we need the right guy to be able to continuously recruit. Is it a tough job? Yeah, that's why you make $1 million. And I don't want to get on my political soapbox here, but man, this conversation reminds me a lot of what I've been talking about lately with Des Moines Public Schools. This bond referendum that came out, and now their line is, hey, just so you know, the old superintendent, that fraud that we had trusted, he had nothing to do with this bond referendum. Then what the hell were we paying him $300,000 for? We were paying the guy $300,000 to form a committee? You make a good salary. If you make a good salary, there should be high expectations that come with that. If you are a government employee who makes a good salary, there better be some high expectations with that. Because here in the private sector, there's high expectations. There's high expectations. And I'm not guaranteed to make more money every year no matter what my performance is. No, if I quit selling houses, my kids go starving.
Okay, let me throw something out there that maybe this has changed. And I'm not disagreeing with what you say. Does this make it harder to attract coaches from current programs? Hear me out.
Okay.
Because if you are winning at your current program, and let's say you're in a Power 4, and you have to go rebuild somewhere else, you're like, okay, I've got it going here. I know it's working here. Do I want to take that chance for maybe $1 million more a year?
There you go.
When I go, I know it's working here. I've got the people and structure in place. Or a lot of these teams going to have to hire fired coaches because they're the ones on the beach. They're the ones that need the job. Others going, it's working for me now. I don't want to start over because I don't know what's going to happen if I start over.
Again, Travis, I think it depends on the person's personality. Let's use Matt Campbell in Iowa State as an example, right? I would hope that the conversation that Jamie Pollard is having with Matt Campbell is about comfort. It's about, man, you're raising your family in a great place here, and our expectations are manageable. And we're happy with you, and we hope that you're happy here. And we hope that we continue to build this thing. If Penn State shows up and says, hey, we want to give you several million more dollars, well, that's Matt Campbell's personal decision. What's his comfort level? Where does he want to be? But again, when we're talking about salaries like this, the expectations should be that high. I'd have no problem with the university saying, hey, we're going to give a guy 1 year. We're going to pay him $3 million to coach a football team. Yeah, that comes with some expectations right away. I have no problem with that because that's the world. That's not the new world. That's life. That's life. Is if you're going to make a lot of money, you better produce some damn results, and you better do it quick.
I was thinking about this when it comes to buyouts because, Billy Napier's going to get $21 million. Jay Norvell is only going to get $1.5. That's still not bad money to walk away from when you're 64 years old. I was thinking about college football salaries and these buyouts. I would rather have this, and this is just me, pay a coach $15, $17 million a season because you can afford it. But you say the buyout is $2 million, right? If we fire you, it's $2 million. That way you're not on the hook for 21. You're not on the hook for 56. It's simple math here,
I
folks.
love it, Trav. You're absolutely right. I'm amazed that these institutions of higher learning continue to find themselves on the wrong end of all of these contracts.
We're gonna front load it because if it's not working, we're going to part our ways. Here's your $15 million for the season. Here's $2 million to go away. Thank you. Instead of, here's your $10 million and here's your 50-some million on the back. Front load that damn thing.
If you suck at your job, we're going to pay you $50 million to not do it anymore. Smart people did that.
Desperate people. Desperate people did it.
Bingo, Trav. Nailing it there. And again, I'm getting really sick of this thing of like, well, not everybody's in the same boat. Florida just happens to have $1 bajillion more than everybody else. No, they don't. No, they don't.
You know why they don't front load those contracts like that? Because who ends up paying the buyouts?
The fans.
The fans.
Travis, who pays for all of this?
The fans. But when it comes to buyouts, you have to make those extra phone calls. Say, hey, we need a couple million. We weren't going to come to you for this, but now we need your help. We need your
cash. Help. We know that you've gone out and made bajillions of dollars, so, man, we need some of that. Don't you care? Don't you want this football team to win? Because, I mean, if you don't care, then we will just suck. But if you don't, and you want to be good, we need to blackmail you. We need more of your money. Because if you don't give us your money, we're going to suck. Again, not to harp on my DMPS conversation, but that's the tone. Hey, if you don't give us more of your money, we're going to ruin this thing. We're going to ruin this thing. We're going to fire your friends. We're going to ruin it all if you don't give us your money. Well, good, because we've been giving you our money and you haven't done shit with it. Yeah, you haven't won football games. Why would we continue to give you more money? Something's gonna burst, dude, in a big, big way. And when it happens, we're gonna stand around. A lot of people are gonna stand around and go, "What happened? Oh, what happened?"
Do that again. Say what happened.
What happened? That's a line from I believe it's either Best in Show. It's one of the Christopher Guest movies. Yeah.
All I heard was Donger from 16 Candles going,
no.
You want a Yankee, my wanky?
No. This is, I got a real wet wagon.
It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
No tricks, just treats at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. We've got the largest inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles, all aggressively priced. Get a 2025 Silverado with 0% APR for 36 months plus $1,000 bonus cash. Or grab a 2026 Silverado with 2.9% APR for up to 72 months. Looking for value? Drive away in an affordable Trailblazer with 3.9% APR and 90 days deferred payments. Come knock on our door or visit us online at willischevy.com for these treats, and we won't even make you tell us a joke to get them.
This fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities. And Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hi, I'm Bradley Ollinger here at Willis Nissan. Now until October, we are offering buy 3 tires, get the 4th for $1. Take advantage of this deal right now before winter. Go online today at willisnissan.com to schedule your tire placement today, and we'll see you on the service drive.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Ross, what do you think there's 11 jobs open now in college football? 11 jobs.
Wow.
We're halfway through the season, and there are 11 jobs, and we're not done yet. We're not done yet. You got to be asking yourself, is Wisconsin trying to find $25 million to buy out Luke Fickell, who got shut out again this last weekend? I'm surprised he still has a job. Maybe it's just the fiscal responsibility of a Midwestern school that says we're not going to part with $25 million. I don't know. Penn State is open. Arkansas is open. Florida is open. UCLA is open. Oregon State is open. Virginia Tech is open. Stanford is open. Now, remember, he was let go before the season start. Frank Reich is there for the season. Oregon State is open. Colorado State is open. UAB is open. And Kent State is open. What's the best job right there? It's got to be Penn State or Florida, right?
Those are the first two that jump out, right? Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun to rank those all. But, yeah, I think that the two that jump out are Penn State and Florida.
And just think about this. Of those 11 teams right now that are going to hire head coaches, in 4 years, how many of those 11 teams still have the head coach they hired? Let's do that.
To watch.
That's going to be one to watch. Is go, okay, these guys went and hired somebody. So at the end of the year, I want to keep track of okay, in 4 years, how many of these guys still have a job? Less, I bet less than half.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was going to say 4. 4.
But I think Florida's going after James Franklin. I think it was all. I think once he went on ESPN, said the right things, said he was going to coach again, because his buyout gets a lot less if he coaches right away. And he doesn't sound like a guy that wants to do television next year. He sounds like a guy who wants to get back on the sidelines and start coaching. And that's a little bit of that redemption factor. I mean, hell, when you got fired almost a year ago, you're like, let's get this thing rolling. Let's go. I don't want to wait. I don't want to sit on the sidelines. Let's go. That's your natural reaction. I don't blame him. But I actually think Florida's a better job than Penn State. I do.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
You're both in tough conferences. You're both not. They're very similar, right? I mean, you have high expectations. You're in a tough league. But the truth is, Florida is second fiddle to Alabama. It's second fiddle to Georgia. Penn State is second fiddle to Ohio State. It's second fiddle to Michigan. They're very similar jobs, but I just think in that fertile ground of Florida,
dude, Pennsylvania's got don't sell that short.
I'm not selling the recruit.
Really talented kids up there in the Northeast. That's a huge population base.
It is. From. Now, Happy Valley is not the easiest town to get to, and it's not the most glamorous town. And that Gainesville's pretty redneck.
I'm not. Penn State's never had problem getting talent.
That's fair. That's
fair. Like there's a lot of cliches out there in college football that are just bullshit.
And
some of it's real. Some of it has a shred of truth. Some of it carries a little bit of weight. I think that I'm way too cynical.
And Iowa fans are just as guilty of this. Well, you can't recruit to Iowa City. Right. I mean, how many times have we heard that?
Right. Well, we can't listen. You can't expect a university that has. We have 2 Power 5 universities here in Iowa. Yeah, look at Wisconsin. And people keep telling me, "Well, Wisconsin doesn't have any money. They can't afford to fire their coach because then they got to fire a coach. They got to hire a new coach, and they got to build their NIL." Yeah, like every other one of these schools. You're telling me Colorado State has it and Wisconsin doesn't? No, that ain't right. That ain't right.
Oh, there's a difference between 25 million and 1.5 million.
You're right. You're right. But there's also a difference between 50 million and 25 million. And
100%.
Guess what? It's the same amount as the 25 to the 1.5. And is there a bigger difference between Penn State and Wisconsin or Wisconsin and Colorado State? It's pretty close. Pretty close. So the math all maths. The math seems right there when you look at it on those scales. Why haven't they fired Luke? I think you're right, Travis. I think that they're looking at it as, okay, this season is gone. This season is lost. There are going to be 11 head coaches out there on the market, no matter how many jobs get filled, because we all know what's going to happen here.
Hey, Florida State's going to open pretty soon. Mike Norvell lost at Stanford this last week. Florida State's going to open either in the next couple of weeks or at the end of the season.
Yep. So I think that there's going to be 11 coaches out there. Because we all know what's going to happen. It's this incestuous thing that happens. Jay Norvell is going to get another job. Mike Gundy might end up coaching again next year. It's going to be one head coach is going to hire. A guy like Matt Campbell is going to be sought after. Well, then all of a sudden there's another job that's open. It's the domino effect, that vacuum that's going to happen. And I think if you're Wisconsin, you're looking around and saying, all right, this season's lost. There's no reason for us to jump into this fray. We're not going to go hire James Franklin. We're not going to get – but if we wait, we can save ourselves a lot of millions. We can maybe even talk Luke Fickell into, hey, maybe you could find one of these other jobs. Maybe Colorado State's a better fit for you. So, I'm not – going to jump into the bandwagon thing of like, well, Wisconsin's broke. They can't afford to fire the guy. No, they just don't want to yet. I think that you hit it on the head. It's financial responsibility. It's actually an institution of higher learning doing some math. Saying, why do we got to race into firing this guy? Our season's done. What happens if we bring in James Franklin to coach the Wisconsin team? What, we win a game this year? Like, let's pump the brakes.
And you bring up a good point. There's a lot of competition from a lot of big schools, and that's going to be the case every year. But now you go, okay, we're going against, what's the attraction going to be to get the guy we want when they might be up for the Virginia Tech job? They might be up for the UCLA job.
Because, dude, you throw Wisconsin into that mix of schools that you had, and they're a ways down there. As far as that attractiveness and can you win, and right now, what's your ability to Florida and Penn State, you're going to take over a team with a ton of talent. You're going to have some resources there. And I feel like those are the jobs that you can win right away at. Wisconsin? I don't know. I just don't know how good that roster is. So,
I don't want to shoo him out of Des Moines, but if I'm Colorado State or if I'm Kent State, I'm looking at Joe Woodley.
I'm completely with you. Like, I see that Kurt Cignetti thing of Google me. I win. And I go, that's our buddy Joe Woodley. Another win a dominant win over the weekend here. I mean,
45-0 over the weekend.
At some point, I would think that teams look around and go, oh, this guy wins.
You know, and
we had millions.
We had Joe on last week when you weren't with us.
Yeah, I know.
And I asked him, you know, because he played South Dakota State and South Dakota pretty close. I said, afterwards, was it kind of like the Rocky Apollo Creed match where ain't going to be no rematch? Like, we're not bringing you in anymore. You don't get to come up here and play anymore.
And scare us like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a little too close for comfort. Can you imagine? And that's why I asked, Steps this on Thursday, and I didn't know they had already scheduled Drake. I mean, if Drake beats Northern Iowa next year,
what?
I mean, people are going to. I mean, that's going to be a wake up call.
Yeah,
People are going to have to go Google him.
Yeah.
He wins.
And is it the money?
It's the people.
It's the people.
And Todd Steps has won at Drake because he had the beat. It's going to take
him a while, right?
Yes.
He had to take over a roster that has been, quite frankly, competing at this level for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on Coach Farley in any stretch. We love Coach Farley, but it's the truth. And I think that you know, and to that point, Coach Woodley would say, yeah, I got to take over a pretty damn good roster here at Drake. Drake had been competing at this level for the last couple of years. And so
now, Joe's probably listening right now because I know he listens every morning. Because would you guys shut up? No, because and I know you love your family and you love Des Moines because you're a Des Moines guy. But the truth is, your family would love Colorado State if it came with $3 or $4 million a year.
Dude, listen, and I don't want to speak for him. My heart explodes when I think about this. I mean it, man. It almost brought a tear to my eye. I'm crying back here right now. I remember this amazing conversation that I had with Mike Woodley, who coached at Iowa State, was a part of a big program, and that Iowa State then is not what Iowa State is now, but his time commitment in that affected his ability to be a dad. And it was something that he became aware of, and when he started doing St. Ambrose and Grandview, and he looked around, and he's like, "Wait a minute, this is a work-life balance I want to maintain." Coach Woodley Joe Woodley has a beautiful family, and I guarantee you that that's a big part of his thing. Man, I'm raising these kids where they've got friends. My wife's friends are here. My brothers are here. My brother is in town and on my sideline. Like there's a quality of life thing that is aware in Coach Woodley. So I don't know. I mean, would he want to have $1 million job? Yeah. We all would want to have that $1 million
Absolutely.
job. I do think, Trav, that I know that that's something that he's also thinking about. That's why when if he is watching right now, he's like, "Will you guys shut up?"
By the way, this is all a compliment. By the way, this is not.
He knows
it's a 100% compliment.
Yep. And congratulations on the success. I'm not surprised a bit.
But Google him. And that's what he would never do that in his opening press conference. How do we know you? Google me. I win. Well, hopefully they've already done the Google search.
Andy will say that.
Yes. Yes.
Andy Woodley will say, "Hey, you want to know who my brother is? Google him." And he might throw in a couple other words.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Jay. Jay, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, Jay?
Not a whole lot, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Just wondering, what's really the benefit for these colleges to fire their coach during the season, other than costing them more money? Maybe, is that what Wisconsin's looking at?
I think my gut says that's what Wisconsin is looking at. Now, I think if you are I think there's a couple things here, Jay and Travis. You tell me where, because you see this stuff in a way better angle than I do. But here's the things that I look at: is if you are available, Penn State and Florida, for instance, you're going to get your pick of the litter. The girl with the curl is only going to date the guy who doesn't have a girlfriend. Supposedly, in this situation, they can't. You can't take a job that already has a head coach. So whoever that is, whoever you think that the best coach available is right now, by opening up your position, you let them know it's raising your flag to say we're available. We're courting. We're out there trying to find somebody. I think that's one of the situations. I think the other one is you get to a point where you realize it's not going to get any better. And it's just time to cut ties. You maybe have donors that reach out and say, listen, you got to get rid of this guy now. If you get rid of him now, these dollars are attached to that. If you wait, we're going to lose faith in you as an athletic director. So I think that there's a few factors that play into this. Now, again, why Wisconsin hasn't made that decision already when it seems so glaringly obvious to everybody paying attention that that's what's going to happen. Luke Fickell's going to lose that job. Maybe there's even a conversation happening behind.
But
Go ahead, sorry.
But aren't there rules in there, like in the NFL, where
no,
if they're still coaching, they can't talk to other schools?
You can talk to their agent all they want, and that's where it happens. It happens with the agent. Agent then talks to the coach, and you start working out at the back end. Now, there are tampering rules in the National Football League. There aren't really tampering rules when it comes to college football. And so what you do, you say, Matt Rule knows the Penn State job is open, right? Matt Rule knows that job's open. He's openly talked about it, his love for his alma mater. So Ross is right. You've kind of raised the flag, say, look at me, look at me. Yeah. And I just named 11 schools. Now, they're not all in the same deal, but Penn State, Florida, Arkansas, UCLA, those are pretty high-profile jobs to where you raise the flag going, hey, I'm going to be calling some agents. And it takes away the potential leak of, hey, I'm talking behind the scenes to somebody, and that's getting out. Because the last thing you want is it getting out as you still have a head coach where he thinks he's got that vote of confidence.
Okay, fair enough.
All right,
I just figured it just cost them more money. So.
Oh, it does.
I'd also add in this wrinkle. There are tampering rules in the NFL. They don't give a shit. They don't. Again, remember the yacht in Miami, right? We know that story. They're all doing it. There might be rules that say don't do it, but if you just keep it quiet.
Yeah, it's kind of like free agency. Isn't it weird that you can't tamper, but as soon as free agency opens, somebody's signed with another team? Well, how did you negotiate right away leading up to that? Well,
in 19 seconds.
In 19 seconds.
How did the $20 million quarterback contract get negotiated? Oh, it didn't. Got negotiated over weeks. That's exactly what's happening. Thank you so much, Jay. Appreciate it, sir. Rock writes this in. This is good. Talking about donor egos. Wealthy men can't own an NFL team, but they can control a college program behind the scenes. I like that.
And it almost gives them more power.
So
it's an interesting take.
It is. It is. I don't. And he's not saying it's all that or that's all that we're experiencing here, but I think there's an element of that in some of these decisions. I mean, James Franklin, like even something else happened there with James Franklin. Something else happened, meaning he was pissing off the wrong people. There's something was going on there, Trav, behind the scenes that we don't quite know about yet. He'd made the wrong donors mad. Something, because you don't fire a guy that had you that close to the pinnacle after a couple of bad games, which is what we're talking about here. So my gut tells me that they were looking for a way to get rid of James Franklin. They were looking for a reason to move on, to do something else. Either they've got a guy in mind that they think can actually be the better option, or James Franklin had just worn out his welcome to that point where they're like, all right, as soon as things start to go south, we're going to make a change here.
They're looking for the ammunition.
Yeah, right. So something else was happening there behind the scenes. And maybe it's just that James Franklin's kind of a tough guy to get along with over a period of time. If you look at Jim Harbaugh's resume, you see that with Jim Harbaugh. Until he won at Michigan.
That's fair.
He gets about a 4 or 5 year window. And even when he's winning, his bosses go, we're ready to be done. We're ready to move on from this guy. And then they find that ammunition. They find the way to go, oh, okay, yeah, you can go on. The more I think about the Fickle situation, Trav, I wonder if that's not what's happening with Fickle, where they're saying, hey, coach, maybe you should explore some of these other jobs that are going to open up, that have opened up. A lot of white flags are going up. And you could go take one of those, and then.
But unfortunately, it's going to be hard for him to get a job based on his current record. Are you going to inspire a program and a fan base coming off a season like you have at Wisconsin? That's going to be because you have to instill hope right away.
You're right.
And you hire a guy like Luke Fickell, you're going to be
it
doesn't inspire the hope.
Even Colorado State's going to look around and go, "What the hell?"
Really? Yeah.
We brought this guy who can't win.
I mean, the only place that's really worked. And it worked out for both programs, Iowa State and Creighton. Mack probably would have got fired at Iowa State if he coached one more year. Slips out, takes the Creighton job. Fred takes the Iowa State job, and everybody comes out smelling like a rose.
Yeah,
and it worked out for both parties,
both programs.
Yes,
every individual involved. Doug, it worked out great for everybody. That's a great point.
Rarely happens that way.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Real quickly before we get out of here, Toronto beat Seattle last night 6-2. Game 7 tonight. Vlad well on his way to being the ALCS most valuable player. He had another home run last night. 2 runs scored, 4 for 2 at the plate, 4 RBI. Game 7, winner take all to the World Series.
Real quick on baseball, I hope you got to see Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, dude, striking out 10, 3 home runs.
The greatest performance in a baseball game. And I saw somebody said, oh, this is the Brewers manager said, that's the best postseason performance we've ever seen. No, that's the best performance we've ever seen in a 9-inning baseball game. Ever.
Don't forget you have up until 10 o'clock this morning, 9:59, to get your Iowa Lottery Mega Millions tickets and Blackhawk scratch tickets into your VIP account for the Cyclone football experience and the Hawkeye football experience. So do that by 10 o'clock today. Go buy yourself a lottery ticket. If it didn't win, put it in there because you can still win the sweet experience. For Ross Peterson, I'm Travis Justice. We're back at 10 o'clock or 6 o'clock tomorrow morning with another edition of the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
It's Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on therushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
What's going on, everybody? Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. I'm excited to talk about some new things we have going on this month in October. Right now, we only have a handful of 2025 models left. We have $10,000 in retail cash on 2025 80s. We have $8,000 on QX60s, and we have $6,500 on QX50s and 55s. Also, all 2026 models, we have $2,000 off. For more information, come visit our showroom or online at willisinfinity.com.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.